It's so easy to fall back, and that's what usually happens to me. I would save, and then I see a lump sum, and I'm like, wow, I've got so much money, and then I just take it out for one thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing is I actually don't have any more savings. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 4 different types of savings that you need to have. Not the 4 different types of saving accounts, but the 4 different types of savings that you need to have. My name is Samantha, and on this channel, we sit down to talk about all things entrepreneurship, personal development, and personal finances. So if this is something that interests you, definitely subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss out on awesome future videos. Okay, so saving money is not so much fun. It is not easy. And if you struggle to save money, you are not alone. This is the average adult. I think 50% of us struggle to save money, but it's a discipline that we need to develop in order to prepare ourselves for the future. We need to start getting excited about saving money as excited as we get about payday, or as excited as we get about spending money. We need to kind of step out of this instant gratification and put our lives into a broad spectrum, like really change the way that we're looking at money and change our relationship with money. So one of the reasons that saving money is hard is that we don't know the person that we're going to be saving for in the future. We somehow think of ourselves as a stranger in the future. So we are detached or don't have so much passion and zeal for saving for our future selves because we feel like our future self is someone that we don't know. They feel like a stranger. But if you really realize and think about yourself in the present as your future self, because honestly, your future self is not really any different from who you are right now. Your current habits, unless you actively and consciously work on changing them, are going to be the same habits that you're going to have in the future. So number 1, the first type of savings that you need to have are emergency savings. It's money that is available for you in the event of an emergency. Life is so unpredictable. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We only pray for the best, believe for the best, but life may throw curveballs at us. Sometimes you want to have an emergency fund so you can buffer yourself and take care of yourself while you're developing a business or growing your brand or relocating and still looking for another job. So it doesn't always mean that you have an emergency fund for negative things. It can be some progress that you want to make in your life, but you want to be able to afford it. How much is enough? How much should I have set aside as an emergency fund? Yeah, so there isn't an exact amount of money that you need to have in an emergency account or an emergency savings account, but it's recommended that you have at least 3 months of living expenses, at the very least 3 months of living expenses. Some people say 3 months worth of living expenses, and other people say 3 paychecks equivalent, saved up, put aside, and you don't touch it. You're not supposed to just dip your hand into that money and take it and use it for small things, small luxuries and stuff, but it is there. It needs to be accessible. Don't put it into a fixed term savings account where you have an agreement with your bank that you're not going to touch this money in 3 or 6 or 12 months or 24 months because you're going to have penalties to take that money out. But you need to be able to access it. This is money for emergencies. So in the event that there is an emergency, medical, or that you're not able to work, you can easily access this money. So if you don't have an emergency fund, start where you are. Start by saving 1 month's worth of living expenses into a separate savings account. Name it emergency fund. Don't touch that money and keep depositing until you have 2 and 3 months worth of living expenses. You don't have to save it all in one day. You don't have to set yourself up to say, oh, I'm going to save my emergency fund in 2 months or in a month, if that is unrealistic for you, if you're not able to. So start where you are, and where possible, open different savings accounts for different things. That way you can label it and you can term it, or really just know that this account is specifically for my emergency fund and I'm not going to touch it unless, God forbid, an emergency occurs. Okay, before we even get to talking about the second, the third, and the fourth types of savings that you need to have, it's important to note that these are financial goals. So in order to meet your goals, you need to be smart about it. They need to be specific. What exactly am I saving for? What are you saving for? It's an emergency fund. They need to be measurable. How much do I need to save over what kind of period of time? So that's going to be also bringing in the time binding element to it. So I need to save 3 paychecks worth in 6 months' time. So based on that, is it actually really realistic, or is it attainable for you based on your current living expenses and all the other dynamics that surround your life and your lifestyle. You are the only person who can really honestly answer that. But your goals need to be smart. They need to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and time bound. And with that being said, the second type of savings that we're going to be talking about today are long-term savings. Long-term means like 10, 15 years plus. And your long-term fund is just as important as your emergency fund because these will help you with stability in the future. They are opportunity savings. These are savings that you keep for investment purposes. These are the long-term savings. There's certain times when opportunities come at you. Say houses are being sold on foreclosure. You can buy a house for 1/10 of what you normally would buy on a bank foreclosure as opposed to actually going into the market looking for a house to buy. So I've heard of people leaving the country or migrating or relocating, and they literally just want to sell their house really quickly, let them go for like really ridiculously low amounts of money. So when you have this fund, or if you actually have made some investments that you can cash out on, you then take advantage of these opportunities that then present themselves. So your long-term savings may start off in an actual savings account, but you would rather consider investing this money. This is money that you're not going to be using immediately. You really want to see it mature, and investments would help you to get a higher return on investment or greater interest on your money than just having it sit in a bank account. And the different types of investments that you can make into stocks, bonds, shares, into so many different things. If you want to get financial advice, like professional financial advice, go to financial advisors and then explore your options and apply that. I'm not a financial advisor yet, so just sharing with you what I know and what works for me, or what I'm learning as I progress in life. So if you need a financial advisor, I am not your girl yet. So definitely go and get financial advice before you make any financial decisions. Saving type number 3 are your goal savings. Here you just have a goal, you have a target of what you want to save for, and you save for it specifically. Create different accounts for each goal. This is going to help you to track your goals. Maybe you're saving for a wedding, or you're saving to buy a car, or to go on a holiday. You have a specific target that you're trying to save for. Instead of having your money into one account without an actual target or a goal that you're working towards, it's so easy to fall back, and that's what usually happens to me. I would save, and then I see a lump sum, and I'm like, wow, I've got so much money, and then I just take it out for one thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing is I actually don't have any more savings. So having goal savings is so helpful because you actually see what progress you're making with each of your goals, as opposed to just having a lump sum of money, and then sometimes you overspend on one area and taking money from another area without even realizing. You might go on holiday because you've been saving for a holiday, but then while you're on holiday, you overspend because you just see that there's a lot of money in one account. So in this case, the advice is to take different savings accounts for different things. So if you're having a savings account for a car, you need to have a separate savings account for that, and just see the money and know that this is specifically for that. And the great thing about goal savings is that you feel more achieved because you're seeing how much you have for each item. You actually would achieve your targets much faster. Where possible, automate your goals. Set up automatic deductions from your account so that you don't even see or handle your savings money. So saving type number 4 are your spending savings. Your spending fund is generally more short term for events that may be coming up, a friend's wedding or a concert. And you don't necessarily need to have a savings account for this type of savings. Putting money in envelopes would even help for this. So if somebody's birthday is coming up and you want to make sure that you get them a bigger gift or a slightly more expensive gift, or just to plan for that savings, you can be putting money in envelopes for different things. So it doesn't have to be as crazy as all the other ones where you're like automating it and stuff like that. Though you can, it's the kind of money that you can put aside after you've analyzed your budget and you've seen maybe you've got a few extra dollars here and there, that you can be putting money aside from that for whatever it is that you want. You can actually be putting money aside for this as your spending savings. So you're saving it to spend it by looking at the tips on how you can actually be a better saver. And number 1, specify your goal. What are you saving for? Without a target, if you aim at nothing, you're going to hit it. define your goal. Number 2, set a deadline. Your goals must always be measurable and time bound. And tip number 3 is to create different accounts for each goal. This is going to help you to track your goals. And tip number 4, break down your goals into smaller chunks, which will be easy to chew and digest. And number 5, make sure you automate your goals. So you reduce the amount of exposure you have to this money. You don't touch it. Chances are you're not even going to miss it. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, please let me know by giving it a big fat thumbs up. Also chat with me in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, so be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.